and it's Derrick Henry. So Anthony says he can't stop drafting Derrick Henry. Why don't you kind of give us a little bit of an understanding as to why?
Yeah, Derrick Henry is one of my all-in running backs this year. Love the price point, love the ADP, usually late second round. And what I love about Derrick Henry is the new landing spot in Baltimore. Now, I'm going to preface everything with this. We know Baltimore's offensive line, they are missing a few pieces. They left this offseason. So why do I like this running back going there? Well, for the first time really in his career, he has the threat of a guy like Lamar Jackson and the RPO. And that'll balance out the offensive line downgrade because the defense has to focus on Lamar Jackson and what he's going to do with the football. If we go back in time, running backs like Devonta Freeman off the street, they were pretty good with Lamar Jackson. Even, Gus Edwards, most of his career with Lamar Jackson, averaged over 5 yards a carry. So, running backs perform. I mean, how much hype did J.K. Dobbins have if he ever stayed healthy in this offense with Lamar Jackson? Now we go to Derrick Henry last season. He had his worst season into memory. Well, why was that? Well, sure. Let's factor in Derrick Henry's entering his age 30. He's 30 and a half, so he'll be 31 this year. So was it age or was it the fact that the Titans offensive line was probably the worst it's ever been in the Henry era? The offense was atrocious. There was no semblance of a passing attack whatsoever. And he was also conceding touches to Tajay Spears. All that being said, Derrick Henry was still the PPR RB8 and RB16 of fantasy points per game. So his overall fantasy finish was inside the top 10. I like points per game more. Not so good, but still, I will take it. If we go back to the previous few years, Derrick Henry would know what he brings. He's a top 5 running back of fantasy points per game. All that bad from last year, conceding touches, bad line, no passing game. He still rushed for 12 touchdowns. Back-to-back years where he had at least 12 touchdowns with the Tennessee Titans. So where do I project Derrick Henry in his new spot at his age? I can see Derrick Henry getting back to that 1,300-yard rushing mark. I certainly see Derrick Henry surpassing 12 touchdowns once again. And I get, you want to bring up the Todd Monken offense. They want to throw the ball. They did not bring Derrick Henry to this team because they want to throw it excessively. Derrick Henry's going to be very much involved in this offense. Baltimore is not like John Harbaugh is not a dummy. He knows the reason why he doesn't advance in the playoffs is because they can't run the ball well enough. And Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, they didn't get the job done when it mattered most. And I think that we're going to see a little bit of a different Monken offense, a little bit of a different Ravens offense with running the ball a lot more behind their workhorse running back. If you have 1 or 2 good years of Derrick Henry and you're chasing a Super Bowl ring, and Derrick Henry is also chasing a Super Bowl ring, I think he's going to want every opportunity to cash in and help this football team. So if there is one more elite year, if there's one more top 5 year out of Derrick Henry, I think it comes in 2024. And drafting him at a late second round ADP, if he gives us something similar to last year where he's a top 10 running back in PPR, I think that's a win.
I agree. Keaton Mitchell, 2 touchdowns last year, 47 attempts, 396, right?
Injured again.
He's injured.
They literally just put him on the today, 18 minutes ago, put him on the PUP list.
Yeah, which I thought was going to happen. I am a Derrick Henry dynasty owner, and I actually made a trade to grab Justice Hill for pretty much nothing a month ago, just to protect myself with Henry because Keaton Mitchell's injury was nasty, and I just did not expect him to start the year healthy, and I still don't. And even if he is, he's going to be a change of pace gadget guy. He's not going to be a guy that's going to touch the ball a ton. But he had 2 touchdowns last year. Justice Hill had 3, and Gus Edwards had 13. So you're talking 18, 19 touchdowns from the running back position. And, crazy enough, like the offensive line for Tennessee, which I was actually kind of surprised about, but I'm going to give you the numbers anyway, because it doesn't really fit with my argument, but I'm going to let you know, because I was pretty shocked too. But the Tennessee Titans were like second from Pro Football Focus for their run blocking last year,
Wow.
which was pretty surprising to me.
Hell out of me.
It does. Yeah, it shocks me. But you know what? I think it's because we sit there and we look how banged up Tannehill got, and we say, oh, this offensive line stinks. And they did stink. Pass blocking. I guess run blocking wise, though, they were pretty solid last year. The Ravens were actually lower in run blocking. They were 8th, which is still, it wasn't a huge difference, but overall, actually, hang on one second. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Titans running were second in the league. They were actually 17th in run blocking. So regardless, the point is the Ravens have a better offensive line. They have more targets. They have more weapons. That threat, like Anthony said, of Lamar Jackson is going to worry teams. And yeah, I like Henry. He had 12 touchdowns last year. Gus Edwards had 13. Gus Edwards. And anybody that watched Derrick Henry last year, this dude did not lose a step. He looks good. He was very fast, still strong. So I have no concerns of him slowing down. And so, yeah, I like him at his cost. Yeah. I'm very high on him this year as well. And he's one of those running backs where, if you miss out if I miss out on Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, obviously Bijan, and CMC, like he's my 6th guy. Like I have him over Gibbs, honestly. Like crazy enough to say, but
me too, actually.
Yeah, I have him over Gibbs. I just think Gibbs is going to be in a timeshare.
I have Gibbs behind Henry, JT, and Barkley.
Yeah, that's how my rankings are too. I am shocked that Gibbs is so high. I think people are just buying into and drinking the Kool-Aid, but David Montgomery, people they like this guy. Like he's not going anywhere. People were so frustrated last year. And I'm like, I don't know why people are so confused. They paid David Montgomery. Granted, that doesn't always mean anything, but anybody that watched him in Chicago, he was a good running back. And for you're telling me Dan Campbell, if he had to choose one guy, his philosophy, he's going to be the guy that says, hey, he wants to bite your kneecaps off. Give me the guy that can pound the rock. And that's David Montgomery. And it's not a knock on Jahmyr Gibbs, but what they want to do, that's why I'm hesitant. But I like Derrick Henry. I like the cost on him. You can get him in the 3rd round, early 3rd round, mid 3rd round in some drafts. Even I've seen it go too. So I have no problem with that cost at all.
Yeah, Henry still, before we move off, 86th percentile in average yards after contact last year, 92nd percentile in percentage of his yards after contact, and 17.5 broken tackle rate, which is 77th percentile amongst running backs. So he still has it.
Yeah, he's still got it.